Hello, my soccer universe, to the last review video of the week, and I almost was about to postpone this even further since the round 26 in the Premier League, which was already chopped in onto 2 weekends, has a one last act because of the postponed West Ham against City game, which is happening now Wednesday, almost at the same time as the Champions League. Are they allowed to do that? Seemingly they are. What can I say? We talk a lot about Manchester City, and I think Manchester City is still dominating in many ways the discussions of the Premier League with their ban. I made a video that you can find up here as well on that. That's all I'm gonna say, except that we now have to also have in mind that while we do not have a final verdict, spot 5 might be enough for the Champions League, so always have that in mind. We talked already, we didn't really talk with Everton, won clearly 3-1 over Palace, Brighton 1-1 over Watford had the lead, and Sheffield United comes from behind the win against Bournemouth. The round this weekend started with Wolves and Leicester, which was actually quite an interesting matchup of two teams that definitely have Champions League aspirations, it seems. However, Wolves gets the next goalless draw. I think they had 3 or 4 now in a row. And to me, Wolves never seemed like this dreary team that only plays goalless draws, especially when you saw them how they played against City. But hey, it was lucky from my point of view. Because Wolves got the 1-0 short before the halftime, and it was ruled out for an offside that was just by the slightest of margins. Again, probably one of the least controversial VAR decisions in England. I have to say, but we have to do something about being just with the foot offside. I think, yeah, I don't know how you will do it, but it just gets me, and this one was all the way out, and it seemed like so marginal that make the line wider or something like that. I have to think about it, but I actually think, given the speed with which play can happen and allowing for the error, I actually wouldn't make the line a bit wider, give it some room for error, and only make one line, and then see is the player beyond that line and shade that area, and that I think would be the technically most feasible solution. Don't take 2 lines where you try to adjust. This, I think, is a problem. But yeah, it ends 0-0. Chowdhury got sent off as well, who has been playing quite well over that, but ends goalless. Southampton Burnley started with probably the idiot goal of the year so far. Corner kick directly. Ings goes with his belly away, and it goes towards the goal line, and the goalkeeper is standing way behind the goal line to defend it. What was the goalkeeper thinking? What is Ings thinking? Is he thinking that if he deflects it, it could go in the net? Maybe, but just take the deflection. Stupid goal. If I was Ralf Hasenhüttl, I would be absolutely steering or that, because it was entirely avoidable. Southampton had more of the game, was the better team, was the more team with a bigger initiative, and Ings gets the equalizer. And same thing goes for the second half, but Vidra with a really nice individual effort. I mean, he stops the ball with his chest, makes the turn, puts it nicely into the net, gives Burnley a 2-1 win. I saw actually quite some of Norwich against Liverpool, not the entire game, but most of the all of the second half and most of the first half. When Norwich again, they're such a nice side to watch, but I think they fall of their own naivete, or to go for it like that. And I'm not sure what matches is sending, because actually you want that even smaller teams are playing more on the forward movement, playing the nice ball, and not defending deep and hacking against anything that's there. have a great chance in the first half. Liverpool, there was a time where it really seemed that they just knocking on the door, knocking, and it just doesn't want to go in. But then there was also, I think it was Cantwell who hit the post, outside post for Norwich, and then finally Mane in the 78th was a ball over the line. He nicely controls this. He came on a little bit earlier and with a nice finish. Yes, he was maybe a little bit pushing, but I didn't find it an unfair challenge. And nets it home. Was a great individual goal. 1-0 Liverpool, and they continue their absolutely incredible streak. Probably the best game of the weekend was Villa against Spurs. I'm wearing Spurs because I think they're one of the big winners of the entire round. Not because I'm very happy, because I actually was more for Villa. I saw it was 2-2 when I joined that one, but it was absolutely 100% the English show. First Alder, and it turned out to be first Alderweireld who was because Alderweireld scored an own goal, but he gets his goal a few minutes later. In the ninth he makes the own goal, and then he scores in the 27th where the ball just falls nicely to him, and he with a good shot. Nets it home. Then Engels makes the foul on the penalty. Again, one of those VAR decisions where, yes, you could see that he's not hitting the ball, so it's a correct penalty, but he was not there for the foul. He was more trying to clear it and was unlucky that it went this way. So he's the cause for the penalty. Heung-min Son steps up, saved by Reina, but on the rebound he gets it in. It's 2-1 at the half for Spurs to turn it around. But then Engels vindicates himself, scores his first Premier League goal. And the game is nicely open. I actually had the feeling that with Jack Grealish, who is really good. I think he is one of the most fun players in the Premier League to watch, to be honest. And Will is another one of those teams. Down on the bottom, but they actually are good to watch. I would love to have them stay in the Premier League. Absolutely. Not only that by their reputation they would belong there, but they're actually a good side to watch. And I always thought that they deserved the point and might get something out of it. Yes, they were leaking a few chances. I think there was one that was it Dele Alli who missed a little bit, but it really looked like it's headed for a draw. Peperina kicks it off, the ball comes back towards the defense, is headed, and Engels, I don't know what he wanted to do. I think he wanted to step with the foot like that on it. It goes under him. Heung-min Son has a clear run on goal and makes it 3-2 in the last minute, and that was a huge win for Spurs. Arsenal-Newcastle was kind of midfield duel, which that I actually saw most of it. To be honest, I thought that Newcastle in the first half had a slightly bit more of the game, and then you could see that they have bought a few new players that just don't know how to gel, and I'm talking about Valentino Lazaro here in particular, who had actually a good first half. And then he and his partner in defense are not clear who is going to take Aubameyang, and the cross comes in from Pepe, and Aubameyang can head it home 54th. And just 3 minutes later, again, they're on the side. They are trying to get Saka, corner, Saka, nutmegs, Lazaro, and it's 2-0 because Pepe can slot it home. Newcastle actually had chances, most notably Saint-Maximin, who hit the post. I think if that goes in, that the game is much tighter. In the 89th, Özil puts it after Lacazette assist, puts it away, his first goal in a million years it seems. And in the end, Lacazette even makes it 4-0. Scoring was way too high for it. I think a 2-0 for Arsenal was more like it than this 4-0 scoreline. And then the big one yesterday evening, which I only saw highlights because, of course, I'm watching Milan. I'm a fan. This was probably the better game. But it was a game that would have frustrated the hell out of me. There's a lot of discussion about VAR in England, and this game definitely did not do anything to abate this discussion. But it is not VAR's fault what was happening. It is the application of it that humans judge clear TV pictures and that humans completely avoid watching, have sending the referee to the TV screen, which is what should be done. The Premier League, it's the best league in the world. They have probably of the professional leagues the worst referees of the big ones. Although I hear France, I watch too little France, but the French referees even worse seemingly maybe. But I have seen. Yes, I see contentious decisions in Italy. I see contentious decisions in Spain and also in Germany, but never is there such an outcry as there is in England. And I think it's down to poor officiating. Case in point, the not given red card in around the 21st, 22nd for Maguire. Honestly, he goes full stretch between the legs of Batshuayi. How that is not a red card, I don't understand it. And especially that referee who, I think he is the one who sent Hyun-Min Song off for this horrible tackle that, yeah, he did not intend. It was a red card, but this was intended and it's a red card. And it's not a red card. That drives everyone nuts. This is not. Yes, I'm probably more for Chelsea, but if this was happening the other way, I think I would go nuts about this similarly. And I'm glad I didn't watch this live, but just seeing the replay, how this is not given, is beyond me. Chelsea is largely the better team. I mean, I don't want to go in the goalkeeper discussion because then the video goes a little bit too long. But Martial gives them the lead after a nice cross from Wan-Bissaka. And United has been the kryptonite for Chelsea this season. I cannot say it any other way. The first day of the season, they beat them 4-0, where the scoreline was way too high, and I think they beat them in the League Cup, and now again at home, away from home. Then Chelsea gets a goal, which is ruled out for a push. And yes, there was a push from Azpilicueta, but he first got pushed by Fred. Again, you can clearly see it in VAR why this goal was disallowed. Escapes me. This is where you get frigging frustrated, especially if you're a Chelsea fan or coach, because you really think that that the referee is wearing a red shirt as well. And this reminded me of the worst times of Juventus being favored by the referees in Italy. Maguire, who should not be on the pitch, heads home his first United goal after an assist by Bruno Fernandes, who probably was a pretty good acquisition. Then Batshuayi goes off, Giroud comes on, he scores another goal, and this is again one of those offsides where, by the luck that he does, I think it was Maguire who just pulled in his foot at the right time. It is offside because the full foot is offside. I hate those calls. I absolutely hate those calls. This should not be an offside. I'm sorry. I'm saying it as it is. I think you should allow for a little bit error, and even with that, it would not be called offside. It would have been a nice goal by Giroud, but this way United hangs on for 2-0. We still have City against West Ham, as I said. And that means in the table, the Champions League race is tightening up. And again, it's not marked here yet, but spot 5 might get in the Champions League, depending on whether City is really going to get banned from Europe. Again, CAS is now to decide, but I think they will probably get a 1-year ban for sure. So with that, Leicester still looks clear, but then Chelsea has not won for a long time, and Spurs is now within a point of them. Sheffield and United right behind, and even Wolves, Everton, potentially Arsenal are not entirely out of it. I mean, there's only 6 points between Spurs and Arsenal. Now I'm counting Spurs as the last one. So, and Burnley also. So there is quite some movement in there. It doesn't seem the most exciting race because the teams that are in there are not that good. I think the one that looks best at the moment is probably Everton. Sheffield United is just sensational. That would be a great story if they make it, but I think if I look at the big boys there, all of them are not that convincing Aston Villa. Let's go to the relegation zone, which gets a little bit wider. I would say Brighton, Bournemouth, Aston Villa, West Ham, Watford, Norwich. West Ham again having a game in hand, but it's against City, so I think this is a rather accurate depiction. Norwich is unfortunate. I really would love Norwich and Aston Villa to stay up. West Ham because I have the shirt, but honestly they play so bad. I think they will. They look for sure to go down. So, but if I would have to pick Aston Villa and Norwich, I would not want to go down, and then the others. Yeah, okay. But no, it's just from me, my personal stuff watching. But I think Norwich will go down. Aston Villa will have a another day fighting, and let's see how this goes. Let's move away. Let's cross the channel and go a little bit north, and we are in the Netherlands, where, yes, I wanted to talk about Belgium too, but there was not too many exciting things happening. There was more excitement happening in the Netherlands, where Alkmaar loses 2-0 to Twente. So, which Alkmaar is playing Lask, so that was a noted result, maybe. But I even tried to look up the lineup. I cannot judge whether this was now the they were saving some players, but it meant that Ajax could pull clear. PSV gets a win over Den Haag, and then Ajax gets the win over Waalwijk, which are in last place. And a really interesting result was, of course, Zwolle against Feyenoord. Zwolle had a 2-0 and 3-2 lead, but Feyenoord can turn it around and wins 4-3. Willem II against Utrecht also 1-1, also an interesting result there. And if we look here at the table now, Ajax is again 6 points clear, which they were not too long ago. Ahead of Alkmaar. Feyenoord is now in third place, 10 points behind Ajax, 4. I can't calculate better, 4 behind AZ. So yeah, PSV could also move in there as well. When I look at it, yeah, because of all the postponed matches, PSV has a game more, of course, as does Willem II, Vitesse, and so on. Yeah, and that ends this part of the video. I think it was an interesting round. Let me know what you thought about the games that I talked about, whether you agree or disagree with me. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, subscribe and share if you want to see more, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hey there! I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, here are some videos and playlists that would be of interest to you too. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel, as it will keep you updated with all things that are rotating in my soccer universe. With that, I wish you a wonderful day. Bye.